So you may be aware of the recent mass shooting that occurred in Maine where 18 people were killed, 4 of them were dead. So typically when big events like this happen, you have a press conference, and usually those press conferences will have an ASL interpreter. I don't know how many press conferences were made about this event, but there is one in particular that has become famous, if you will, has gone viral because of the ASL interpreter themselves. Not in a good way, but in a way that has, it's kind of the same old. This interpreter has gone viral for facial expressions used, and people on Twitter, on TikTok, probably on every other platform of social media, have made comments claiming that the sign language is fake, the interpreter is fake. They're equating it to what happened in other press conferences in Florida where there was a fake sign language interpreter. We've had moments that are like that. However, these comments on social media are claiming that Regan, who is a certified deaf interpreter who is native to ASL and is deaf, they are claiming that this person is fake and doesn't know sign language because of her facial expressions. To backtrack a little bit, what is a certified deaf interpreter? It's in the name. They're deaf and an interpreter, and what usually happens, at least from my experience, from what I've seen, you have one hearing interpreter sitting in the audience in front of the deaf interpreter that is standing, and when the person is speaking at the podium, the hearing interpreter will hear it, and then the hearing interpreter will interpret that to the certified deaf interpreter, who will take that and interpret it in their own way, so it's more ASL, if you will, than if the hearing interpreter was signing it. Because if there's anybody that knows ASL best, it's usually the people who grew up using it. And people were just claiming that the sign language was fake. There was one moment where people were claiming that Regan was mocking the victims, making fun of them with the facial expressions that were used. There was absolutely no mocking whatsoever. This is literally American Sign Language happening in front of your face. Facial expressions and mouth morphemes are crucial to the language. They will make or break or change the meaning of a vocabulary word, of a sign. And since you will probably ask, do these people that are making comments know ASL at all? The answer is no. Usually, no. And they'll say that in the comments too. They don't know anything about ASL, but surely this doesn't look right. If you don't know how ASL works, or sign language in general, if you don't know how ASL works, why are we commenting on it? Now, some of these comments were more like questions and weren't trying to say or accuse Regan of anything inappropriate. That's fine. People are more than happy to explain that the facial expressions, the mouth morphemes, etc., are part of this language. And they will happen even more so when you get a native deaf person who is a CDI interpreting. There was also an incident of this person claiming that they had a deaf stepfather. They claimed that something was being signed incorrectly. At one point, Regan was signing "moving on" or "going on with our daily lives," but the hearing person with a deaf stepfather was claiming that Regan was actually signing "happy girl." I'll put the link to the tweet down below in the description box so you can take a look for yourself. Regan was signing "moving on with our daily lives." Nobody was signing "happy girl." And there were many other cases where somebody would be claiming this and that, and then other deaf people had to step in and say, no, this is what this interprets to. This is what the meaning is. They are saying what the person at the podium is saying. Stuff like this is so weird. Like, we can be signing stuff that means absolutely nothing or is incredibly inappropriate, and then hearing people will be like, oh, this is so beautiful. And then we have serious moments like this where people are now taking it and claiming that it's not what is being said is inappropriate, etc. It is always so hard to get people to take ASL seriously, and comments like this just aren't helping. There's also people that are saying that they are ASL interpreters or they are ASL teachers saying that Regan is faking. There was a person who claimed to be deaf and an interpreter that's saying that Regan was faking. It is an absolute wild mess on Twitter and TikTok and other platforms. So many hearing people will say things like, we need to learn ASL in schools, and I want to learn ASL, etc., which, cool, great. But then you see the language in action, and this is what people have to say. And of course this commentary is going viral, which just makes it harder to make corrections because people will ignore the corrections or have more things to say about the corrections, and people will believe the commentary, the ridiculing commentary, more than the corrections that are being made. Please just stop. Do your research before making any commentary or ask questions. And no, these weren't blue check marks that were trying to just make ad revenue from Twitter, at least most of them. So these were just people trying to say something and be rude. And well, that's that. It's an unfortunate situation that happened, and it sucks for everyone that's affected by it. The deaf community's been going through a lot, and this was definitely something. This was horrible. I'm gonna try to find the links to all the GoFundMes and put them down in the info box if you would like to help out the families that are affected by this. That's all. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and hopefully you learned something today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.